Let's take a look at how we might motorize our automata with the constraint that the motor has to be on the automata box. And this is one implementation of that where you have it put onto the back of the box. I drilled a hole here and on the back, and then I put this zip tie there. And then in order to couple it, I originally tried using a rubber band, but that didn't really work. So I went with a chain. So this is a chain here, and then these sprockets here is going to be the subject of this video. We're going to try to make these sprockets which attach to the axle, motor axle, and also the axle, motor shaft we're going to call it, and the axle of the automata. So let's take a look at that. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to not reinvent the wheel. So we're going to go back here to OnShape to the general area here, and we're going to click public down here and put in 8-tooth Vex IQ sprocket. And this is the thing we want to do right here. So we have the Vex IQ 8, 32, 26, etc. For now, we're going to worry about the 8. So let's click on there. And since it's public, we should be able to make a copy of it. So make a copy of it. And you're going to copy it to Owned by Me. So now it's your personal copy. And here it is. It's my copy. Now I'm going to take this tab here that it's in, the Part Studio, and right-click, copy to clipboard. And then I'm going to come back to the file or the document that I was working on. So that's going to be Owned by Me. And I think I called it, let's go into Automata 24. I called it Automata Sprockets. So I'm going to click back in there. And I'm going to hit the plus sign down here and paste the tab. So now I have this tab in here. So this is what's known as a step file. A step file is a file that captures just the shape of it, not really any other information, and it can't be subsequently edited. So it's just sort of like a block, and it'll show import 1 up here. And you can't really go in there and change things because you don't have the all the sketches and extrusions here. But what we can do is the following. We're going to use this part to get the outside part, the wiggly part, and then we're going to modify the interior part to match what we need. So the way we're going to do that is create a new Part Studio here, and actually I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this one. Let's see. Yeah, let's duplicate this guy, and I'm going to rename it Axle Sprocket. And I'm going to come back here and I'm going to duplicate this guy again, and it is going to be rename Motor Sprocket. So this will fit on the shaft of the motor. Let's do the axle sprocket first. So here we are. Okay. Now we know that we want this thing, but with a 1/4 inch square in the middle. So how do we do that? Well, first thing I want to do is get rid of this thing there. I don't know why that was there. Okay, so here we are. And you can see that this thing is kind of tapered at the end, so we might need to deal with that, but we're just going to try to make the thing first. Okay, so the way to do this is that we're going to place a sketch on this face here, and then press N. And now what we're going to do is project this outer part here onto our sketch plane. And we're going to make a new chunk of this sprocket. So to do that, I can turn off the part when I need to, but I don't need to, obviously. I need it here. So here's what we do. We come up to the Use, our Project Geometry here. I'm going to click here. Now the downside is that this is broken up into many little chunks. So you got to come in here and grab each arc. You don't want to grab the center. You want to grab sort of off to the side and work your way. Some are long, like that one. Some are shorter, like that one. So you got to zoom up, click that one, and then really zoom up, click that one. And that's a long one. That's nice. But then zoom up, click there, and they're all kind of, they have a center point there that you need to avoid. Now let's turn it off, and you can see that I'm getting there. So I have to work my way all the way around here. It'll only take, I don't know, a few minutes. You can hit the big ones first and then come back for the little guys. And at the end, you'll know you got it done right if the interior is grayed out, which means you have a closed 2D surface. Now I'm going to go through here, and actually I'm going to pause the video and then come back when it's done. Okay, here I've been doing it a few minutes, and it looks like I've almost got it, but it's not gray in the center, so I'm missing some pieces. So I need to really zoom up and find it. There's one I'm missing right there. Let me pause it again, and I'm going to go back and get it. So what I'm doing is projecting wherever I see there's a gap, and then I turn the part off, and I say, oh, it's still not gray in the middle, so I'm missing some. And then there's the one I'm missing, so I turn this back on, and I go click on him, and maybe that was the magic one. Nope, I still have some missing. So I'm going to come over here and look all around, and I don't see it. Oh, there they are. So let's see if this is it. I'm going to leave the video running, and maybe this will be the time that I get it. Looks like down there. Now if I back off and turn this off, still not there. Okay, I see one there. Okay, I'll leave it running. Sorry about this taking so long. There we go, and finally, it's still not gray. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I finally got it. So that took, I don't know, 3-4 minutes. So now I've got this, which is the teeth, which might be the hardest thing to make. And you see that it came from there. What I'm going to do here is I am going to extrude out. Yeah, right there, like that. Except I'm going to have this be about point, for the chain here, what was it? I think it was point, I'm going to just have a placeholder at 0.2. We're going to have to maybe dial that in. It's a little too wide, I think, because we're not tapered at the end. Okay, so there is my sprocket. Now I just need to put the hole in the middle that matches our needs. So I am going to rename this guy, part 2. It's going to be axle sprocket. And I don't really need this anymore. I could delete it, but I'll just leave it for now. Okay, so there we go. Now, what we want to do here, we're going to do the, recall this is a 1/4 inch square. So we're going to come over here, we're going to get a variable, and we're going to define this as axle underscore offset. Remember, this is the amount by which we increase the hole here above 0.25 on a side. So this doesn't have to be big because we can always sand the wood axle. So I'm going to say 0.007. Okay. Now, it's right here, so everything below it can use that number, that variable. So I'm going to place a sketch on this face, press N. I'm going to find a center point rectangle, and I'm going to put in, let's see if I can do this, 0.25 inches plus axle offset. Enter. So that's not what I wanted. What happened there? All right, let me just go to the next one. 0.25 inches plus axle offset of 0.007. Okay, so that one's okay. So I made a mistake here. I don't know what happened, so let's go take a look at it. I said, because I put in 0.5 instead of 0.25, that would do it. So you can see that these are a bit bigger, so they should accommodate the axle. So we'll do that, and then we can finish that sketch. We can do an extrude where we remove the center. We want to go through all, and that is our sprocket that will fit onto the axle. Shift 7. Let's go ahead and get a volume on that. Well, let's give it a material, axle sprocket. Assign a material, that's going to be ABS plastic. And so let's go down to the display mass properties. We can grab it there. Now we got to be careful. Okay, I think we just did select that and not the other one. So we got a volume of 0.051 cubic inches. So that's good to know. Okay, so we have that one. Now we need to do it with the irregularly shaped hole for the motor. And actually, it would be better. Yeah, we don't need to have this guy here. We can actually just duplicate this one after we've done all that work to get the teeth of the sprocket. So let's go ahead and rename this. This is going to be motor sprocket. And what we want to do is we want to move the rollback bar up probably to here. And now we're back here. Okay. So how do we want to make this here? Well, if you measure the cross section of the axle, it looks something like this. It's got a round area here, with a maximum of about 0.215, and it's got a flat at about 0.147. So many years ago, I made this one where I made a circle of 0.226 and then a square in there at 0.165, and that's just a little bigger, and I ended up getting something that fit pretty well right here. So let's go ahead and do that. So the diameter of our circle is going to be 0.226. So let's go back over there. Let's place a sketch here. And whoops, didn't want that. Shift 7. Place a sketch on that face. Press N. Let's do a circle here. A radius 0.226. I don't know why I didn't say 0.225. This was done a while ago. Okay, and now we need a center point rectangle here, and that distance doesn't really matter. It's this distance that matters, and if you go back here you can see that that distance is 0.165. So let me put in there 0.165. Got something like that. So I'm going to accept that, and then I'm going to extrude and do a remove in, let's see, in that region there. And it's going to be through all. We'll accept that. So that should fit onto our motor. And we need to rename it here as well. This is motor sprocket. Motor sprocket. Okay. All right, that looks like it might work. So let's get the details on it. We should have said it was ABS, but at least we know that the volume is 0.058. Now that's compared to the volume of this one of 0.051. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so those are the sprockets, and those might work to help us motorize our automata. Thanks for watching.